Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout. Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in.
My bad, I always forget to take that off a loop and it plays it again. What's going on, folks? Started the stream impromptu. I was going to record a video and just do like a produced video and edit it, but I got lazy and didn't feel like doing editing. So I said, you know what, let's go live. So we're doing it live. I got some notes, some things I want to go over. Got my water. Got my new Olympics background because we are coming upon the Olympic break. And yeah, man. Doing a little recruiting real quick. Like I said, this was last minute. This was very impromptu. So just trying to see where everybody's head's at. But I'll tell you what. I heard the comments, and this is where it's springing from. I heard the comments by Cheryl Reeves, and everybody knows the comments from Cheryl Reeve before the game and all the way back to when it was first announced that she was not going to be on the Olympic team. And Cheryl Reeves has not been very quiet about the situation. What's up, Daniel? She has not been very quiet about the situation. She's been very vocal, not very vocal about it. I don't want to say vocal like she's been out screaming to the mountaintops, but when people ask her, she ain't afraid to give her opinion. And I ain't got no problem with that. A couple of things we're going to get into. It's a weird situation with, not weird, but it just hasn't been seen by the WNBA before. What's going on, Chris? So it's a little bit different than what they are used to dealing with. This is my opinion, of course. When you become mainstream like that, you get the good with the bad. The good, obviously, is the publicity, the money it's going to bring on, the visibility for the sport. It's growing, attendance, merch, everything. Money's going higher. That's the way you want it. That's what you want. But with that comes the negative, comes the media, comes the social media. Everybody got something to say. Everybody got an opinion. A lot of people with these opinions don't even watch the games. That's what comes with it. I bitch, moan, and complain about that during the NFL season for the last 15, 20 years. You got people on ESPN, CBS, Fox Sports, all of these networks, and now the social media element that it is crystal clear that these people are putting out information and they do not watch the game. What they get is a couple of pages full of stats, and they base their narrative or their opinions based on what they read. They didn't watch the games for themselves. They didn't have eyes on the situation. So they can just go off of the numbers or the stats, or it's like, it's a lot more nuanced than that. Just because somebody, I don't know, just because a running back had 100 yards in the game doesn't necessarily mean he had a good game. What happens if the last play of the game, he busts off a 70-yarder? But for the most part, the defense had been shutting them down the whole game. There's things you got to look at to really get a gist of how the game was going. So, Chris, you got to be careful with that. Because I used to say that too, but that's not necessarily the case. There's plenty of great coaches, NFL, football, baseball. There's plenty of great coaches that really didn't play, but they've always been around the game. So you can have people in the media that didn't really play. They used to take that to the next notch. Because I remember when people used to say, what's the guy for daggone it? Getting old sucks. What's the guy for on ESPN? The former quarterback of the Lions that stepped out of the back of the end zone. He's one of the best commentators out there. Dan Orlovsky. And when some of his comments and opinions, people would hit him with the, well, what did you do in the league? You've never played in the league. So everybody will have something. So it's not necessarily, you don't have to play to have an opinion. However, you do have to watch the game. You can't watch highlights. Highlights don't count. What you saw on ESPN, or now everybody jumps on YouTube to see the highlights of the game, and it's not enough. You can't read the cliff notes, man. You got to watch the game. That's the one thing I do take pride of. With the WNBA, I have been invested. And when I say invested, I am watching games. I'm not just watching highlights. I am watching games. I want to see what they're doing. I got my top 5 players. I've already told you guys that. Arike, Jewel Lloyd, Kalia Copper, Jonquel Jones, Sabrina Ionescu. I got a top 5 of players that I like to watch. And I try to make sure that I watch those games. And it's very interesting because we're going to get back into the Caitlin Clark effect in a minute. But when I go back and look at my analytics on YouTube, every time I cover an Indiana Fever game, my numbers are up. But when I cover New York and Las Vegas and all the other teams, it doesn't measure up. I'm getting decent numbers. But for me, I'm not a person that's getting 100,000 views on a stream yet. I'm working on it, but I'm not quite there yet. I need y'all to invite some more people to the stream. But my point is, even for us content creators, right? When Caitlin Clark is on the screen, numbers jump. When you got something to say about Caitlin Clark, everybody's listening. So, streaming on location in Paris. Yeah, man. What's up, Kev? On location in Paris. Yeah, I better find a clean bathroom to use. So, she's the gas in the engine right now. Caitlin Clark is. She's driving this machine, whether people like it or not. And that's the thing I want to get into tonight, whether they like it or not, because it's still happening. And I saw the interview that Caitlin Clark did. She threw a slight jab back at Cheryl Reeves in Minnesota, but it wasn't nothing crazy. She responded, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like she came out of her neck and was saying something greasy or disrespectful. She never did that. And for the most part, Cheryl Reeve never did that either. But Caitlin Clark is in full Tiger Woods effect right now. She is the real deal. She is as advertised. She's putting points on the board. She's better than people thought she would be. And, the reason why I say the Tiger Woods effect is, and only if you saw it for yourself, and only if you were old enough to really understand what was going on, will you get it? Will you understand what I'm saying? The 2 biggest examples and the 2 most obvious examples was Tiger Woods and Danica Patrick. I do throw Dale Earnhardt Jr. in there. And I had some other names from Michael Jordan was like that for a minute, but not as Michael Jordan was different because the era was different. But Tiger Woods and Danica Patrick are the easiest comps that I can use because they're still kind of big in the lexicon. And they were in their careers and social media existed. It still wasn't what it is now, but at least it existed. All right. Tiger Woods, here's the issue with Tiger Woods, and this is what Caitlin Clark is getting. And again, it wasn't Tiger Woods' fault, and it's not Caitlin Clark's fault. Here's what's happening, because I remember watching this, right? When Tiger Woods he wasn't even at his prime yet, but he had just got on the scene. There was a lot of anticipation when he came out of school. They knew he was going to be good. You just didn't know what you were going to get. And then he came out guns blazing. And everybody wanted a piece of Tiger Woods. The galleries at the golf tournaments shot up. Tickets to go to these golf tournaments shot up. The prices shot up. Merchandise shot up. The same thing that they're happening now in the WNBA. Same thing that's happening now is what Tiger Woods did for the PGA Tour. Because the PGA Tour was a bunch of old fogey stogies. Everybody tuned in for the Masters, and you knew the names. The Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus, and Lee Trevino, and Chi Rodriguez. You knew the old names, but Tiger Woods was somebody new, and he was young and didn't nobody. And just like they're doing with Caitlin Clark, nobody wanted this young kid to come in and school him, and that's exactly what Tiger Woods did. But here's what pissed everybody off. It was Tiger Mania was so big that regardless of who you were, regardless of you were an established veteran or tour winner or an up-and-coming person, every time you did something, eventually somebody wanted to ask you a question about Tiger Woods. You may have played the greatest round of golf of your life, but somebody in the media was going to ask you, well, hey, did you see what Tiger Woods did? Do you think you might have a chance to play with Tiger? And it got annoying. That's the problem. They couldn't debate his talent. They couldn't do that. It was on display. You can hate on it, but you had to respect it because he was whooping up on everybody. But when you get somebody on the course and he's had his best day and you asking him about somebody else, that gets on your nerves real quick. If you are like Coach Reeves, if you got a mindset, and I understand what she was saying when that dude asked her in the pregame press conference, when he tried to ask her a question about the U.S. national team. And when you are in that mode, and she said it, she said, I'm coaching Minnesota right now. This is not a national team situation. So now's not a good time. And she was right. But he was doing his job. I can't get mad at him for asking the question. It was a legitimate question. Her mistake, in my opinion, was she ain't have to bite the dude's head off. I mean, and she didn't. It wasn't that bad. But you could tell she was annoyed. But she could have just simply said, like, hey, this is Minnesota. We're not dealing with the U.S. national team yet. I got plenty of time to do that in a week's time. But I still got to deal with it. I mean, she could have said it anyways, but you could tell she was annoyed. But that's what the media does right now, because they have to live and die on the virality of whatever content they're creating. So you get journalists, people that have been around newspapers and stuff like that for a long time, the traditional journalists that are still asking questions, and they're still trying to do it the right way. But the background of all of this is everything is digital. The paper you work for is digital. You're not buying too many physical papers no more. You get on your phone when you sit on the toilet in the morning and you go through usatoday.com, sportsillustrated.com, espn.com, or you download the app. Matter of fact, it's evolved again because nobody's going to the websites no more. Everything's on the apps. You're on your phone or your iPad. So the digital background exists for everybody, and it's changed the game. Because now everybody's asking questions because they want some type of reaction. Because if they can get a physical, visible reaction, somebody's going to be taping it. The moment's going to go viral. And then whoever you work for is getting all of those clicks and all of that traffic, and everybody makes money. That's the business model now. So now you got a lot of these reporters and social media journalists, for lack of a better term. They're trying to create some type of viral event. That's what they're trying to do. And it gets irritating. If you are a coach, it gets irritating. Y'all already know one of my pet peeves is when they do these freaking interviews and the game is going on. I hate it. Whoever came up with that, need to be smacked upside the damn head. That is horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible to do to a coach because they're trying to think of what they need to do. And when you at this pro level, every point matters. Now, when you sitting there trying to give an interview and the game is actually going on, they don't even let them. They can't even conduct this interview when they're coming out from halftime. That's the best time to do it. But don't do it when the game is actually going on. That's stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Now, I don't know who's driving that initiative. I don't know if Kathy Engelbert can put the hammer down and do something, but don't do that. You got too many other times you can make them talk to you and say, okay, you got to meet your media requirements. We need a piece when we come out from halftime, but don't do it when the damn game is going on. Don't do that. It's unfair to the players. It's unfair to the coaches. Because if something happens and they don't have their focus, and they make a mistake, that 1 point might end up costing them a game at the end. So my point being, the media is always trying to get some type of viral event to happen. Sometimes you don't need help. Sometimes it just happens, i.e., look at the Kennedy Carter situation. Kennedy Carter is arguably one of the best guards in the league right now that came off the bench, and now she's starting, and the team's better for it. Kennedy Carter is the best person, the best player on Chicago's team right now. It ain't Angel Reese, in my opinion. It's Kennedy Carter. Because if she don't play, they ain't winning. Period. I don't care how many rebounds Angel gets. So they're always trying to create a story. And now it's to the point where everything is extra, right? Everything is extra. Caitlin Clark made a subtle mention because somebody asked her about breaking the record, number 2 with all the rookies, and she did it against Minnesota. And I was, my train of thought is just like Caitlin's. I was like, you're not gonna remember that. Now, if she gets to number 1, you'll remember that, but you're not gonna remember when you got number 2. But again, you did it against Minnesota. You trying to stick it to Cheryl Reeves. She didn't pick you for the U.S. team. That's always going to be the background when Minnesota and Indiana meet. When Caitlin Clark and Cheryl Reeve are brought up in the same sense. That's always going to be the background. So it was something slight. It wasn't no big deal. But you look at some of the content created in the last day or so since it happened, and people act like, Caitlin Clark just cussed the woman out or something like that. No. They're trying to make it a big deal. And again, they're trying to create the virality to it. And that's what people don't like. And again, it's not Caitlin Clark's fault. Caitlin Clark she's done it the way you're supposed to do it. You keep everything on the even keel. You don't put out nothing salacious. You don't say nothing suspect or greasy. You keep it clean, you keep it short, and you keep it moving. Caitlin Clark is doing that. Angel Reese has gotten herself in a little bit of trouble a couple of times. Nothing crazy, but she's made some comments and people kind of arched the eyebrow like, really? But even she has pretty much kept it simple. She Weatherspoon kept her from a lot of the press conferences. Now people got upset about that. I thought that was a smart move. Because Angel Reese has that attitude, and you say the wrong thing, she's been known to do that. That's my only fear for Angel Reese is that her attitude will probably get her in trouble. Something that she's doing, or she go off on somebody on social media, something like that. Because she's been known to do that. When she was at LSU, she said some greasy stuff to an assistant coach once. So she has that history. Not to mention when she came back her last year, was she gonna play it? You can go read the story. My point is that she's got an attitude, and if somebody pushes the right buttons, they're gonna get the response that they're looking for. They will get that viral moment. That's the one thing that Angel Reese has got to watch out for. Caitlin Clark is good. But don't think for a minute that somebody can't try to set her up too. because everybody's trying to get a moment. Everybody's trying to get him to go viral some way, shape, or form. And it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. You saw what happened with Dijonai Carrington and Nalissa Smith. It's very easy for that stuff to blow up, and it can go good or bad at the drop of a hat. It's like you splitting hairs. You balancing on the edge, and everybody's looking for somebody to screw up because you mainstream. It happens in MLB. It happens in NFL. It happens in NBA. WNBA, y'all mainstream now. So everything y'all do is on Front Street. Look at the kid for the Minnesota Vikings, Jordan Addison. Got arrested, fell asleep at the wheel, car in the middle of the highway. Arrested him for possibly drunk driving. It don't take much. All it takes is one person to be at the wrong place at the right time. Somebody gonna get you on the phone. Before, you used to worry about paparazzi, but now everybody that you walk past, if you are a celebrity, especially a sports celebrity, everybody you walk past on the street is a potential paparazzi because they got a phone in their pocket. All it takes is 5 seconds of video and you're done. But that's what you get when you become mainstream. Now people are interested. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. That's what happens when you mainstream. Everybody's trying to try to get you, get to you, get hands on you, get an interview, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna check out some of my new interfaces here. But like Caitlin has pretty much done all of her talking on the court. She don't really do, she's pretty dry and she gives the short coach speak type answers. She needs to give a lesson to Christy Sides because Christy Sides be talking in circles and don't say nothing. But for the most part, Caitlin Clark keeps it, like I said, keeps it clean, keeps it short, and keeps it moving. You know what I mean? So in response to what Cheryl Reeve said, you know, Cheryl Reeve's comments weren't that bad. She ain't telling no lies. I respect Cheryl Reeves because that's a lot of pressure to put Caitlin Clark on the team. But in true coach's fashion, she knows what she wants to do because you got to look at it like this. Her success or failure can cost her her job. So my logic is, if you gonna get me, at least I'm gonna make it worth my while. And I'm gonna go down my way, not your way, not what you think I should do. I'm gonna do what I think is best and puts my team in the best position to possibly win. And if what Cheryl Reeves thinks is putting a veteran team together, so be it. I went through that list. I made videos about that already. Y'all already know how I feel about that. Do I think Caitlin Clark deserves to be on that team? No. Should she be on the team? Yes. And I say that because I'm looking at it from the business standpoint. Whether Caitlin Clark is on the team or not, they should win gold. Period. They should win gold. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, all right, let's back it up about 5 to 10 years. What have the women always been going on about? Equal pay. The league is growing. We should, everything's about getting equal pay, getting more, and we deserve more. Okay. Here's the person that can give it to you. She's raising all numbers, merch, attendance, ticket sales, everything. The reason why you want her on the U.S. Olympic team, because she is a global brand right now. People in other countries are tuning in to see what she does. Not Diana Taurasi, not Asia Wilson, not Chelsea Gray, not Sabrina Ionescu. Her, Caitlin Clark. People want to see what she does. They are very specific in what they are looking for. And because she is a global brand, if she was on the Olympic team, that brand would be raised. The visibility is going to go through the roof, or would have anyways. And what does that do? That cranks up the possibility of higher media rights when you go into the collective bargaining agreement, which is what the WNBA will be doing in 2025. The 2024-2025 offseason, there's going to be a new CBA. What do you do in the CBA? You negotiate better paychecks. How do you get better paychecks? You need more money. How do you get more money? Your media rights deal, your TV deals have to be higher. They have the opportunity to probably get close to $300 million in media rights deals for the upcoming season. I think they'll get somewhere between 250 and 300. If Caitlin Clark was on the Olympic team, I think they would get above 300. So all of that talk and the stories that came out that they were 50 million in the hole and all of that kind of stuff, all of that stuff goes out the window because now they're getting an additional 350 million or whatever the number is, 275, 300. That's 250, 275 million that they didn't have before. And then when you get the media rights deals, everything comes, it's a domino effect because now you're more visible on TV. Now you got all of these other companies that want to sponsor you and want to do endorsement deals. Now that filters down to the players. So not only do they get bigger paychecks, now you get more endorsement possibilities, NIL deals. NIL is name, image, likeness. That's not just a college thing. That follows you through your career. If somebody wants to do a deal with you, they do a deal with you. Period. So now that possibility of business that you can do with these players, the visibility changes everything. Now people want to mess with you. People want to spend money on you. What, her jersey sold out in 20 minutes or whatever it was? They missed a business opportunity. Did she deserve to be on the team from a player? If I put her against one-on-one against Taurasi and Chelsea Gray and Kalia Copper and Kelsey Plumb and all of them guards on that Olympic team, Jewel Lloyd, if I put her one-on-one, Caitlin Clark one-on-one versus any of them, I don't think she wins. Maybe she might give Taurasi a run for her money, but Taurasi's still a good player. Y'all know how I feel about Taurasi. I don't particularly care for Diana Taurasi, but I am not going to disrespect her game. That girl is still balling at damn 41 years old. So she wouldn't have made the team on talent. But the business opportunity of it, specifically because it's a collective bargaining agreement year, you're missing an opportunity. You're messing with the money. So, you gotta listen. It ain't, bruh. It's all about who they like. It don't matter. It don't matter. It's who they like. It ain't about who's balling, who's not balling. You can't tell me that A'ja Wilson is not the best player in the WNBA right now. But you know what? And I've said this many times before. A'ja Wilson, when she plays in different cities, those different cities, when Las Vegas goes to New York don't have to move to a bigger arena. When Las Vegas goes to Connecticut don't have to move to a bigger arena. It's only happening with one person. A'ja is the best, and she gonna get some filtered. Like I say this all the time. Caitlin Clark can't make all the deals. She can't make all the commercials. Somebody else gonna have. It's bound to fall off the wayside. It's like, people dropping gifts in your hand. You only got two hands. Something gonna fall by the wayside. Somebody else gonna pick it up. That's the way it goes. I'm not talking about selling out every game, but Las Vegas don't play. Las Vegas doesn't play at the big arena every game. And then you look at everywhere that Caitlin Clark goes, they sell out everywhere. Because I know Las Vegas last year was the first team to sell out their season tickets. So Las Vegas was on the rise, but it's more than Vegas. You got to look at the whole league as a whole. Las Vegas ain't supporting the whole team. I understand your point. You're not wrong. but it's got to be more than just Vegas. And even when Vegas, they play at what is it, the Michelob Light Center? That's a 10,000 seat center. So they got a good stadium to play in, and they do fill it up. But when Caitlin Clark came to town, they had to go across the street. They had to go to the 18,000 seat joint. And they don't do that every game. So it's something to be said when you have to move to a bigger venue and you actually fill it. Stop playing. It's because of her. Because if it wasn't, then they would have been doing it last year, and they won. So the money is up all around, and it's going to keep going up. But when you throw a microphone in somebody's face and you've had your best game, or if you something unrelated and everybody wants to steer it back around to Caitlin Clark, that's when people get aggravated. That's when people get aggravated, and rightfully so. And that's not on Caitlin Clark. That's on the media trying to create the event. All she doing is balling. You could like her, hate her. You don't think her game is good enough. Whatever your opinion is. But the extra stuff ain't on her. So, it is what it is. But this is the Tiger Woods effect. And I mentioned Danica Patrick because now the situation is like how Danica Patrick was when she moved over to NASCAR. Danica Patrick had good success in IndyCar racing. And then when she moved over to NASCAR with the big boys, it was clear she wasn't ready. But she was so popular, NASCAR made that money. She got a good sponsorship. She moved over, but you could tell she wasn't quite ready for prime time yet, and she had to take her lumps. And over there, them boys don't play. Rubbing is racing and all of that. So she went down there, and it was getting on people's nerves because it was the same thing. They get in a race, somebody get wrecked out, Danica was involved. Or somebody had a good race, and then somebody had to ask you about what do you think Danica did and stuff. Like, it got bad because NASCAR fans aren't the most polite when it comes to stuff like that. And it got really bad and really sexist for a minute. And I remember you could probably go on YouTube now and find some clips on TV where they said some stuff. It was like, woof. But it got to the point where they were just sick of hearing it. So, but it is what it is. It's going to keep moving and it's going to keep growing. So, JB, Angel Reese just sold out 2 times in New York. Yeah, she just getting up there. That's what I'm talking about. It's slowly but surely filtering down to everybody else. She getting hers, and I would imagine that I haven't seen the numbers yet. If you've seen something, let me know. What is Chicago looking like when they play away? That's the thing. She got Chicago, but what does Chicago look like when they play away? So, she sold out when she went to New York, and it keeps going. But she's selling out the venue. They're not going to bigger spots for Angel Reese, not yet, anyways. That's not to say that won't happen. So all they got to do is, I don't think the WNBA understands how to play the game because they've never had to play it before. That's why Adam Silver is helping Kathy Engelbert do the WNBA rights, the media rights for the new CBA. Adam Silver is helping them do that. That's why I think they're going to get probably between 250 and 300. I think if everything goes smooth and nothing crazy happens in the Olympics, because that's going to be on everybody's, God forbid if they lose a game or something like that. But everybody's still going to be talking about Caitlin Clark not being on the team, and eventually it'll die down. But JB, you keep mentioning, like I said, Las Vegas. Las Vegas was good because Las Vegas was they weren't the only team, but Las Vegas had the biggest, I guess, growth spurt because they were selling out their crowds in Vegas. And like I said, they were the first team to sell out their season tickets last year. So they were getting it done. Yeah, good point. That's what I was trying to say earlier. It's like, you ain't gotta like her, but like just acknowledge what's going on. Acknowledge that everywhere Caitlin Clark goes, she's selling out. I would argue if you put Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson at a table together, the line for Caitlin Clark autographs would probably be longer for the A'ja Wilson autographs. So, New York is getting there too. And I think, and that this is the thing that the WNBA did correctly. This is what they did right. Was when they got Ionescu in that 3-point tournament with Steph. Because let me be honest with you, I didn't know who Sabrina Ionescu was until I saw her in the tournament. But that's visibility. And then you and again, you have that filter down effect. Then you start Sabrina Ionescu, and for me, this is my opinion, Sabrina Ionescu and Kelsey Plumb. Those are two. I'm sure there's others, but for me, those are the two players that I started learning more about when I started watching Caitlin Clark and saw how it was going. I saw Sabrina Ionescu battle Steph and damn near should have won. And that just raised the visibility for New York. So then, of course, you go on YouTube and you see, I was like, oh, she got some skills. She got some handles. She can shoot the three. Okay. Y'all talking about Caitlin Clark. You already got somebody in the league that can do that. Caitlin Clark is trying to get to what Sabrina Ionescu is. Then it was Kelsey Plumb. I saw that damn video clip a million daggone times with Kelsey Plumb throwing the t-shirt in the stands at the Lakers game. I guess it was the Lakers game. And she threw a t-shirt to her dad. She pointed to her dad and launched it like Peyton Manning or somebody. I never knew that was Kelsey Plumb. And I didn't realize who she was until I ended up seeing her later on what's the Kevin Hart thing where they do it in the cold tub? Whatever show that Kevin Hart does. She was on there. And I was like, oh, that's who that is. Then it clicked. I was like, oh, that's who Caitlin Clark, that's the record she broke. Then I started putting pieces together. So the way it works out for everybody is going to be different. But the trickle-down effect is happening. The trickle-down effect is happening. All you got to do is look at the all-star votes. The last place all-star this year got almost 6 times the number of votes than A'ja Wilson, number 1, last year. That's crazy. And people can say it's this, that, and the other. I attribute that directly. That is directly the Caitlin Clark effect manifest. That's exactly what it does. You got so many eyes on it now, and the filter down effect. Ooh, I've been watching Caitlin Clark, but damn, who's this A'ja Wilson person? Who is this Sabrina Ionescu person? Who is Jonquel Jones? Where'd she come from? Who is Kalia Copper? How come I ain't seen? Who is Arike Ogunbowale? I ain't never seen her. And it keeps going on and on. The fact, and I've said this before, and I said it a lot more earlier, but I don't do it as much now. But the fact now, today, that I can rattle off about 10 or 12 WNBA players and kind of give you a little synopsis of their game is testament to the enjoyability, the watchability of the game as it exists right now. And a big part of that is Caitlin Clark. A big part of that is Angel Reese. The catalyst that came from the NCAA finals 2 years ago. It matters. So all that stuff comes into play, and it seems like the optics are that the WNBA is trying to play catch up. They're trying to, it's almost like they've been pushing the car and all of a sudden the car takes off. And now they're trying to run to get in the car so they don't get left behind. You got to be ready for this. And I think the WNBA, their media team, I think they've missed a lot of opportunities, but I don't know what their media team is. How big is it? You had 3 or 4 players in your draft with over 1 million followers. And maybe it was me and maybe I just didn't see it. If you saw it in the chat, let me know. I did not see any collaboration between the WNBA and Angel Reese. Angel Reese is number 1. Angel Reese got over 3 million followers on Instagram, Facebook, whatever that is. So Angel Reese is number 1. Caitlin Clark was number 2 at 2 million. And there was a couple other people. Camila Cardoso had 700,000. So you're not looking at chump change, especially when you're talking about your influencer market has a direct effect on the watchability of your game, your viewership. You're not going to get a 1-to-1. All 3 million of Angel Reese's followers are not watching WNBA games. But let's say you get 20%. Let's say you get 10% of 3 million. When before you were getting 180,000 people watching a broadcast game. That is not good numbers whatsoever. And now you in the millions, and you in 900,000 in the millions, 1.8. You breaking records every week. Is like, this is the most watched game in WNBA history. How come that record keeps getting broken? Because the only time the WNBA has been this visible is when they first started, way back in the day. They've been big like this before, but it was so long ago, nobody remembers it. It's almost like the same thing when I be taking a dig at Cowboys fans. If you ain't never seen Troy Aikman play live, I don't want to hear from you because it happened so long ago, it doesn't matter anymore. That's the same thing with the W. When they was at the top of their game and it was something new and fresh, that was a long time ago. And in the middle, it got bad. And then COVID hit, and it got worse. And now you got somebody that just basically came on and gave you a steroid shot, and now y'all running, and the league has got to keep up with it. The league has got to play the game. So it's going to be, for me, what I want to see is I want to see what they're going to do when they come off of this break, this Olympic break. That's 4 weeks of not playing basketball. And you only got, 15 people going over there to play for the U.S. team? That's a lot of people off. And a lot of bad things can happen. People get lazy. You get rusty. There's a difference between playing in the game and just practicing. You lose that edge. So the team, if Connecticut is playing good and New York is playing good, and now you off for a month, the team that can pick it back up the quickest is going to have the best advantage, and that's the latter half of the season. Dallas sucks. You already know, bro. Angel Reese also had lots of bot paid for followers. She doesn't get the traffic that it is what it is. You can say that about anybody. I don't know who bought followers and who's got organic growth. I don't know. All I know is she's got the biggest following in the WNBA right now. It's bigger than Caitlin Clark's. I think Caitlin Clark's fan base is bigger because I think a lot of those people that come from Iowa, you got a lot of that older crowd that probably ain't really dealing with social media that much. Yeah, they do something on Facebook and they get on the Caitlin Clark fan page and they might tweet something or chat it up or something like that. But for the most part, that's about as far as it goes. So, and like I said, I don't expect her to have a one-to-one transition from her followers to all the people that's coming to games, spending money on merch. That's not going to be a one-to-one transition. But let's say she can get 25% of that 3 million. That's still a big chunk of change that the NBA or the WNBA should be trying to take advantage of. And my whole point in saying all of this, hey, Miss Pinky Lee Davis, I appreciate you. My point in saying all of this is the WNBA and their media team should be targeting Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Who else? I know there's some other. I'm trying to think of people offhand. Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plumb, Asia Wilson. What's the girl in Seattle? And the only reason I'm saying her is because she's got over 1 million on her follow. Skylar Diggins Smith. Cam Brink. Cam Brink is on the cover of some fashion magazine now because she's been out with the knee, but she's on the cover of magazines now. The WNBA's got to be taking advantage of that. It got to be a little bit more than just the Skims commercials. You know what I'm saying? So they got the opportunities, and Kathy Engelbert has got to make the most of it. The one thing that I have liked about Kathy Engelbert is every time I have seen her on TV, from before the draft, through the draft, and after, every time I have seen her on something, she has been about business. She was smart enough to get the help from Adam Silver. Very smart move, because that can't do nothing but help the brand. You think Kathy Engelbert wants to be subsidized by the NBA? Because everybody's going to bring that up at every time. And when they do finally become independent and don't need the NBA's money, people are still going to bring it up. Yeah, but you was subsidized by the league. They had to give you $40 million every year for 20-something years. You think she don't want to hear that? But this is the first legitimate step to them being independent, not owing nobody money, not being in the hole. My prediction is in 2025, they will be in the black or close to it. It ain't going to be a 50 million in the hole. And then I'm thinking 26, maybe 27 is when they're going to start turning a profit. So it's going up. The people that want to be so pro WNBA, they want to give those facts. Yeah, we sold out every game this year. Yeah, you sold out an 8,000 seat arena, a 5,000 seat arena. I know how that game works. I do video for a living. I know people that work for NFL Films and, shoot them games where they on top of the stadium with a shoulder cannon camera, that can zoom in on the logo of the ball. I know those people, so I know how that works. I know that when they only show the bottom rung of the stadium, I know how that works. Look at the UFL and the XFL. A lot of those games, they only show that bottom row of seats. They don't go any higher than that because ain't nobody up there. And they sell it. They build the momentum and they build the excitement just on that. That's the way they got to do it. Never forget that it's a production. WNBA is no different. Because you can go online and you can look, and yeah, we sold the game out, but you get somebody that was at the game and they were streaming or they put some stuff on Facebook or YouTube or something, and then you like, y'all said it was sold out, but it's a lot of empty seats in here. But that's par for the course. That happens in every league. That happens in the NBA. That happens in the NFL. You look at all of them teams in the NFL with bad records. 3-14. Ain't nobody at them games. They done already sold the tickets, but nobody's coming to the games. So they lose out on the concessions and all that kind of stuff. Why the hell you think a hot dog is $10 when you go to a game? Because they got to make up for people buying tickets and not showing up. That's the business. That's the back and forth that they got to do. So I didn't even see that, Wesley. WNBA was in denial of what Clark was going to bring, as in ratings and marketing. I don't think they were in denial. It just has to be said that they hadn't had that before. And that's why, again, I will use the Tiger Woods effect as an example. They did the same thing with Tiger Woods. They did the same thing with Michael Jordan. They did the same thing with LeBron James. You don't know what you have until you see it. And based on the track record for 30 years, you hadn't had it. You had one person like that, Candace Parker, Rookie of the Year and MVP of the year, her rookie year. Yeah, one person. That's it. You might argue that Candace may have been as popular as Caitlin Clark is right now. But the one reason why it's always different when you're looking at any era or any athlete before Caitlin Clark, the reason why she will always come out on top is because she is and she has the full force of multimedia and social media behind her. That is her wind in her sails. She has got that pushing her. Candace Parker, they had social media, but it wasn't like it was now. Tiger Woods wasn't like it is now. Michael Jordan didn't exist. Go back and watch my video on how Michael Jordan was directly responsible for the ascension of ESPN. When ESPN came on board, I believe ESPN started in 78. Jordan came out in 82. And then everything was Sports Center. Dunks and all of that kind of stuff. EJ Uno, what's up, man? I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, man. Let's see what we're talking about. I don't know if it's even a debate. We wouldn't be here on YouTube talking to WNBA if not for Clark. Agreed. All kind of channel popping up. I hadn't watched an NBA game in over 15 years. I agree with you 100%, man. It is what it is. And people are there are some people, not all. There are some people in the WNBA. There are some coaches in the WNBA, not all. Some of the players in the WNBA, some of the veterans, they don't like it. And the only thing I can do is reference my experiences in the NFL because I know how that works. If there is a top pick, every team has a number one draft pick. Most teams. Sometimes teams trade away their pick and maybe they go a year or two without a number one. But every team has a number one pick at some point in time. And for the most part, when that rookie comes into camp, there are some expectations of him. And some of the vets are going to be looking at him with that arched eyebrow, like, all right, you got all this money, but when you step on this field, your ass is mine. I wasn't even drafted. I made the Philadelphia Eagles as an undrafted free agent. I made it the hard way. And rest assured, make no misunderstanding, make no mistake whatsoever. When I step on that field, my job is to take somebody's job. And not only take his job, I'm taking somebody's $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 a year, $1 million a year. I'm taking that job. Don't nobody want to come up off that money? These women are the same way, except they just not making as much money. So they're going to guard it even more. That's why you don't see rookies do what rookies are doing this year. You don't see it. Most of these teams are veteran teams, and these rookies fall by the wayside because there's no reason that Rikeya Jackson should not be in the Rookie of the Year race. She don't play enough minutes. The first time Alyssa Peely got in the game, she busted him for 20. You don't see her no more. Why not? What's the girl in New York? Fibish. She started getting some love finally. It is so from that standpoint makes what Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Rikeya Jackson and Cameron Brink makes what they're doing so much more spectacular, in my opinion, because they haven't had it like this. You haven't had a crop of rookies like this before. And a lot of people will continue to say this. This is not even the best crop of rookies. But because the way social media is, because of the way the media landscape exists now, everybody's getting a little bit more shine. I said this the other day. The reason why Rikeya Jackson is not in the race for Rookie of the Year is because she only plays 20 to 25 minutes a game. Angel Reese is playing like 30 minutes a game. Caitlin Clark is playing like 35. So you give somebody 20 minutes and then you give them another 10 minutes and say you got 10 minutes to score. There's a big difference in why Caitlin Clark is averaging what she's averaging and why Angel Reese is averaging a double-double. The reason why I said Angel Reese, in my opinion, today, I said this like a week ago. My perspective has changed now. But what I said was, at that particular time, thank you, EJ Uno. I appreciate you, brother. Make sure you subscribe and please don't be a stranger, man. Thank you. What I said was, today, now again, I said this a week ago, but at that time, I had Angel Reese slightly ahead in the Rookie of the Year race. Because for me, her consistency with her streak means something to me. That means you putting in quality minutes every game. And you putting in work every game. I don't care if people don't like double-doubles. That's your opinion. My opinion says if double-doubles were so easy, everybody would be doing it. And that ain't the case. You just saw they made a big deal when Dijonai Carrington had her first double-double, her first career double-double. She's been in the league for what, 3-4 years? So I'm not going to disrespect Angel Reese and she putting up her own shots and all of that kind. Get out of here with that. You try to put your own shot up and see how easy it is when you got 3 people standing around. If it was that easy, she would have scored her 10th point the other day against New York. But New York said, not today. And that's what they're supposed to do. But I'm not going to take that away from her. That's a damn good streak. Let somebody else do it. That's not named Alyssa Thomas. It ain't happening. So you got to give her props. Caitlin Clark, she averaging what, 16 and 7? Yeah, she turned the ball over. Because everybody's guarding her damn near full court every time she touched the ball. Ain't nobody else getting like that. The vets don't even get guarded like that. But that's what I'm talking about when I made that reference to like what happens in the NFL. If you the face of the league and you the top pick, you take on the court, you got a target on your back. Everybody's coming for you because everybody wants to be that person to prove you're not as good as they say you are. I want to be the one that proves that. I want to be able to steal the ball from Caitlin Clark. I want to be able to knock her shot. I want to be able to knock her down on a hard foul. That's the target you get. That's a rookie taking their lumps. And she didn't complain about it. I would argue, and I've said this from the beginning, the problem when all of this mess came out about the hard fouls and all of that kind of stuff, I even subscribed to that for a little bit. But you know what I did? I said, let me fall back. Let me jump on this thing called YouTube and let me go look at the past 3 seasons in the WNBA. And let me tell you something. They were scrapping. This ain't new. The hard fouls, the physicality. This ain't new. The problem is everybody gets so brainwashed with that BS that's going on in the NBA. The flopping and the ticky-tack fouls and all that kind of stuff. And now you think that's standard operations. The WNBA plays like the NBA used to before it got bitchified. But they've been playing like that for a while, so it wasn't anything new. My argument was the problem was, in my opinion, the refs. The refs were the problem because they wasn't blowing the damn whistle. If the girl gets a hard foul, so be it. That's basketball. But please blow the whistle. If she's going to take the foul, at least give her free throws. And that's across the board. That's across the board. This wasn't something that was aimed. This wasn't something that was aimed at Caitlin Clark. This was not aimed at her. This was across the league. Everybody was complaining. Everybody was throwing their hands up in the air. These refs are horrible. And I think it is my opinion that if the refs were just blowing the whistle like they should have been, calling obvious fouls, it wouldn't be a problem because every time somebody gave her a hard foul, she'd be on the free throw line and she would probably be averaging more points. But this is across the league. These refs are god awful. What's up, Asia Draymond? Yeah, I like Alyssa Peely too. Another missed opportunity. I don't know what they're doing in I saw what they did when she got on the team, because Minnesota had the first Native American elected official, I think the lieutenant governor or something like that, and they welcomed her and they did some traditional dance and gave her like some traditional stuff. So they did play that up, but I don't see the WNBA playing that up. So, hopefully it'll get better. So, I wish Kathy Engelbert would find a way to clean up the soap opera drama affecting the game of players on the court. GM shouldn't allow social media attacks of players against other players. That's the world we live in, Ms. Davis. That is not going to change. That's in every sport. You can't get away from the internet. You gotta watch my video about Dijonai Carrington and what she said about, when she was upset that nobody came for Caitlin Clark when she talked about flopping. And she said some pretty spicy stuff. She said some racist stuff and she put it out there like that. And here's the problem. She wasn't wrong in what she said. It's how she said it. Basically, what she was saying was, when I made fun of Caitlin Clark flopping, everybody came for my neck. She does the same thing to Van Loo, and don't nobody say a word about it. She was right. Dijonai Carrington was right. But how she said it in her tweet, to me, that wasn't good for business. Because somebody will look at that and is like, that's got a little isms in it. And we trying to stay away from that. So these girls got to be careful now. And the social media aspect is how they live. You can't, it's unavoidable now. It's part of the lexicon. It's part of the landscape of, I remember when back in the day when it was MySpace, Twitter, and Facebook was the king at that time. I think Twitter is king now, but at the time it was MySpace was at the end. Then it was Twitter and Facebook. And I remember when news would come out and people would put it on Twitter or social media, it was like they would laugh them out the gym. And then I'll never forget, I was watching CNN one night, and CNN had a live tweet, had a split screen, and had their Twitter page and getting live feedback from their Twitter page. And I was like, school's out. It has arrived. And ever since then, everybody's got a live Twitter feed. In the NFL, if you want to get breaking news, what do? You put it out on a tweet. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport comes out on your tweet before it plays on ESPN on the television. Matter of fact, ESPN will come in with breaking news and it'll say breaking news per Adam Schefter's Twitter feed. That's the nature of the beast right now. Social media has eclipsed terrestrial media. TV and cable are on the down. That's why you can get all of these TV deals with Amazon and Hulu and Ion. And who the hell knows what Ion is? It's a digital platform. That's the way they do business. So that's the thing that they have to look out for. To me, that's and maybe you weren't here earlier when I said this, Miss Pinky Lee. That is my fear for Angel Reese, is that she got that attitude with her. Maryland girl, Bayou Barbie, I'm the villain. She rolling into that. But again, you got to be careful what you ask for. If you ask to be a villain, they're going to treat you like a villain, and it ain't going to be fair. It's not going to be fair. She did that one time when she was at LSU, and that caused the whole thing. And I was like, you can't put yourself out there like that. And then when things don't go your way, now you want to release and tell you, now I want to tell you everything that's been going on with me behind the scenes. You said you was the villain, so they don't care about the villain like that. So you got to be careful. So she going to do what she got to do. But all the WNBA's got to do is they got to keep everything together until they can get this next crop of next year Kate Beckers is going to be in, and the one person that everybody's waiting for is Juju Watkins from SC. So it's going to continue to increase. It's going to continue to increase. So, yes, women play more physical than the men. You talking about flopping? Woof. Do I think Caitlin Clark is putting in the work too? She's not your choice for rookie of the year. No, what I meant was at that particular time, Caitlin Clark. Here's my prediction. Right now, I say, I did say, Angel Reese had a slight lead above Caitlin Clark for rookie of the year. Now, when I said that initially about a week ago, the very next day, Caitlin Clark has the triple double. So in my mind, I was like, oh, they back to even again. And then, the Angel Reese streak is done, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, to me, in my opinion, it's a neck and neck race right now. It's even right now. But what I think is going to happen is when they come off this break, whoever can pick it up and get back to form the quickest is probably going to win it. And I think the way Caitlin Clark plays and everything that's going on and how she's doing it, she's going to end up winning it with the assists and everything. The rebounds and stuff that Angel Reese is getting is phenomenal. However, rebounds don't necessarily transition to points. Every time Caitlin Clark gets an assist, that means somebody had to score. So Caitlin Clark is responsible for more points going on the board than Angel Reese is. And that's how Caitlin Clark is going to win the Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. My humble opinion. Mr. Quipster HD. My opinion, Angel Reese run with that double-double is done and wrapped up. For a while, I felt like she was working harder on that DD than on team winning. It was as though DD was becoming her identity. You're not wrong. I know there was a little people were making issue with what Kennedy Carter said. She mentioned something about she's glad that it's over. But I said it earlier today. Kennedy Carter is the best player on that team, not Angel Reese. So Reese runs up and down the court like Big Bird. I love her. You know what? And let me be honest with you. The way Angel Reese runs up and down the court, when she gets to that third and fourth quarter, she looks like she's not quite in shape yet. Because you can always look at them tall girls. Angel Reese is 6'3". You look at Cardoso. You look at Jonquel Jones. Anybody that's 6'3" and above. You look at Fee Collier. Anybody. You can tell when they're getting tired when that gait shrinks. And she's struggling to get back down the court. You look at, for Indiana, what's the girl they just signed? Damaris Dantas. She is not in game shape, in my opinion. She lumbers back and forth on the court. I don't know what's going on with Tammy Fack Bentley, but they need her back on the court because that girl can run the floor. So it's very evident to see who's in shape, who's in game shape, or who's not quite 100%. You look at Chelsea Gray in Las Vegas. As good as Chelsea Gray was last year, she is not 100% yet because she does not look like her explosive self right yet. Not yet. Andrew Reese's teammates are pissed because they want to win games also. They had their opportunities. They just don't seal the deal. I say the same thing. Like, look at Teresa Weatherspoon. Teresa Weatherspoon is the perfect coach for Kennedy Carter, which is why Kennedy Carter is playing like she's playing. If she was playing for anybody else, I don't think she would have the same success as right now. Teresa Weatherspoon has the perfect attitude for somebody like Carter, and it's paying dividends. So, yeah, heart and soul, I saw that. I'm just saying they need to get her back on the floor. Bad. Hopefully Aaliyah Boston can continue what she's been doing. I'm of the opinion I like Aaliyah Boston, but for me, somebody her size at 6'5", in my opinion, she does not pull down rebounds with authority. When you pull in rebounds, you gotta get like an attitude. And let me be honest with you, that's what Angel Reese has. Angel Reese has an attitude under that rim. She is out hustling everybody else. That's why she's getting double doubles. Aaliyah Boston at 6'5" she got 16 rebounds. She had what? 16 and 17 or something like that. 17 points and 16 rebounds. It's ridiculous. She was pulling down everything. But she has got to be more physical and more dominating around that paint. She's got a big body and she's got to be more physical. And I don't think she is. The best athlete on that Indiana team, in my opinion, is NaLyssa Smith. Because if you ever see NaLyssa Smith at 6'3" go up and get a rebound, she is going up and pulling it down. NaLyssa Smith is another one that looks like she grew up playing with her brothers. That's the type of game she has. Kennedy Carter looked like she grew up playing around dudes. That's somebody mentioned the other day, said Kennedy Carter reminds them of Iverson. I don't disagree. So, but it's a lot of stuff coming up, man. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen when they go into this break. I think all the teams have like 2 games left. So Indiana has an opportunity to be 1 game under 500, which would be great for them. And then they have this break. Just remember I said this. The team that comes from this break, this Olympic break, and can pick it up and brush the dust off quickest is going to be the best team. And the reason why I give Caitlin Clark a little bit of an advantage is I've seen her work ethic. I know what she does in the offseason and shooting shots with her boyfriend after every game and all of that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that Angel Reese doesn't do that, but Angel Reese has a whole nother entity going on. She's at fashion places and doing all of that kind of stuff. And when you got all of that free time, people are going to try to occupy that time. People are going to want her to pop up, and she's getting to that celebrity status too. She's already there, but she's a fashionista and all of that kind of stuff. So she's got more distraction than Caitlin Clark does, in my opinion. So I think the way Caitlin Clark goes about her business and practices and all that kind of stuff, she'll be better coming off this break. And I think Indiana, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I can't say that. I just know from what I've seen when she was still at Iowa, she would put the work in. That's all I'm saying. So I'm going to get out of here, man. It's been an hour 15 we've been rolling. So, this has been a good chat. This has been a good the live chat has been lit tonight. And I appreciate everybody. Miss Pinky Lee Davis, please, everybody hit that subscribe button. Please click on that like. That's how I grow. That's how the algorithm knows I'm here. But I appreciate everybody. Mr. Quipster, I appreciate you. Appreciate those opinions. Miss Pinky Lee Davis, bringing it in hot. I appreciate your opinion. Listen, Miss Pinky Lee, I am always looking for other females to join this conversation. I have a twin sister and an older sister, and if I didn't have it that way, they would smack me upside the head. So tell all your girlfriends, this is a safe space. We can talk. If you want to talk about ball, let's talk about ball. So I appreciate you. Heart and soul as usual, man. I appreciate you. Kevin the PRF, he's got that wrench. You already know what that means. He's part of the squad. Hunter Jules, I appreciate you. Ray J. Who else? We had everybody on here, man. Asia Draymond, I appreciate you. EJ Juno, man. Thank you for that super chat of $9.99. It is appreciated. I'm trying to put in work, man. If y'all got feedback, something I could do better, let me know. Let me know. I don't do this on my own. Wesley Oshawa Jeffries, thank you. I appreciate your opinions, man. You was coming in hot. Ryanin, I appreciate you. Chris Bruce, as usual, man. You already got a wrench. You already know what time it is. JB, keep them opinions coming, man. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you for joining in. Don't be a stranger. Who's that? Kyle Ellsburn. Chris Bruce, you got a wrench, boy. You know you're part of the family. Daniel Berry. Everybody, this chat was lit tonight. Jacques Cousteau. That's old school, man. That's old school. CC is rookie of the year, hands down. Listen, man, as a former professional athlete, it's never over till it's over. That's how I look at it. It's never over till it's over. What happens if if knock on wood, what happens if Caden Clark twists an ankle or something? What happens if Angel Reese twists an ankle or anything can happen? Look at Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink should be in this race. Hurts her knee. Anything can happen. So for me, I don't never say that because it's never over till it's over. So, but I appreciate you though. I appreciate the comments. Don't be a stranger, man. When is your next live podcast? I will be doing let me see. I believe Indiana plays tomorrow. No, they do not. We've got Phoenix, Washington. That's 11:30 in the morning. Ugh, won't be doing that. Seattle, Los Angeles is at 3:30. Won't be doing that. I will probably be doing Connecticut and New York Liberty, and then I'll have a post-game show. I always do a live play-by-play. I always have. I'll give you guys an example. This is my play-by-play interface. So I got the score up top, and you get live stats, and we just talk about the game as it's going on. So you can either watch the game and have me on a different screen, watch me. I used to try to stream the games, but YouTube shut that down. I've seen other people do it different ways, but I'm not even going to play with that. So I will probably do 7 p.m. tomorrow. Connecticut and New York, because those are the two best teams. So that's going to be the best game. And then I'll probably do a post game while Chicago and Las Vegas is starting. So it'll be plenty of stuff to talk about. So I'll probably be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. And then on Wednesday, Indiana plays at 7:30. So I'll be on at 7:30. So whenever Indiana is playing, I'm usually broadcasting an Indiana game. And I try to do all of the New York and LA and Las Vegas games. So if you can follow me on Twitter, Coach_Marcus06. Hold on, I can put that on a banner real quick. Hold on. Show. Yeah. Check it out on the bottom. Coach_Marcus06. That's the Twitter feed. So you can hit me up there because I try to put a schedule up. Every day I'm doing something, I'm putting it out on Facebook or social media and stuff like that. If you want to find me on Facebook, just look up Pro Fan Talk. It's a sports group. Or look up Marcus Thomas. You can find me. So I'm on the social medias. I'm on Instagram too, Coach Marcus. Or look for Pro Fan Talk. You will find me. So I'm just trying to grow. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, the chat was off the chain. Please and thank you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to have some fun. So be safe. God bless. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.